Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. This is episode 2 of an MCU rewatch. In this video, we're going to be rewatching Iron Man 2. If you guys are new in here, how this series works is I basically just show you guys how I'm watching the movie. I'm going to be sitting down, having my phone in my hand. I'm just going to be talking to the camera, showing you guys my reaction to the movie. I haven't seen a lot of these movies since initial release, so it'll be fun to see my reaction again. If you guys haven't already checked out the first episode where I rewatched Iron Man, you can do so by clicking right up here. And if you guys like this series, make sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you guys are new on here, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you don't miss any time I upload a video or I go live. Without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Alright guys, so we're officially on Iron Man 2. So excited to get this started. My only problem so far is that I feel like every single Iron Man villain has something to do with this stupid arc reactor. Like, they already showed his arc reactor in this movie once. Alright, even though I watch the MCU normally, it's still weird to see the different roadies and how they changed. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just watched Iron Man 1 obviously, but the way it changes they show a back shot of his head first, so you can't tell who the actor is, even though they said it obviously in the beginning credits, but it feels so ominous at first, even though I already know. Bro, this court scene is something different, dude. I love it so much. I totally forgot how good this scene was. But I do love it, and I do love it a lot. It's so good. I love the acting from everyone in this scene. I don't know who the actor's name is who plays Justin Hammer, but he's so good. I also totally forgot about the whole plot point of his own heart killing him. That's pretty cool. I don't really know how that's going to play into everything else, but obviously he has to find a solution to that and also fight Whiplash. So that's another cool side plot point that I really like in this movie so far. Oh, shoot!
I promise you this is the only time I will ask you to sign over your company.
Whoa, one sec, bro. I'm so... What? I totally forgot she was in this movie. Wait, is she their sister? Or does she work at the company? I'm so confused. And how did she become Black Widow? Oh my god. Bro, I forgot she was in the movie. Oh my god. This movie is so lighthearted, but also serious when it gets to the other parts in the movie, Whiplash's parts and him building his stuff. There's a good mix. There's high, fast, summery music vibes, but then there's also super serious dark moments. I think this movie balances it really well so far. One thing I actually really like about this movie so far is probably just the sheer amount of stuff that's going on in general. There's just the bars, for example, the bar scene when they went to the luxury bar thing. That was so cool. That was so good looking because there was just so much stuff going on at once and all the acting was so well done. Alright, so that was the first major fight of the movie, and it was pretty good. I definitely think that the action was there, the exploding cars was sick, but that suit up scene is just so undefeated. One thing is that I felt the Pepper Potts and Happy part, that was kind of that felt so rushed. I felt they could have taken more time with them, but other than that, I don't really know what more they could have changed, but it was a good action sequence. I really liked it.
All the lives the Stark family has destroyed. If you can make God bleed, then people will cease to believe in him.
Okay, this guy as a villain, I really like him. I honestly don't remember much of him as a villain, obviously, because this is this only second Marvel movie in the franchise, but I'm excited to kind of compare all the villains, because that's one thing I really wanted to do during this rewatch was compare all the villains. After this rewatch is completed, I'm going to make a video talking about my favorite heroes and villains in the MCU, because I feel like after rewatching, I'll have a better sense. But right now, I really do like this villain's motive. I think that he has a personal connection to Stark, and almost everyone who's a Stark villain does have somewhat of a personal connection to him or has been negatively impacted by his life. But this guy just seems like super cynical and literally insane.
Where would have been such a waste of talent. But if I might make a suggestion, you don't just go and try and kill the guy.
Okay, I actually really like this villainous duo. It's way better than I remember it being initially. And so far, I definitely think this movie is underrated. Let me see how long I have left in it. I'm about 46 minutes in. I have an hour and 17 minutes left. This movie's pretty good so far. Also, I just remember Rhodey turns into War Machine. So that's another thing we'll get to see in this movie. We only have an hour left. So I don't think we'll get to see too much of Rhodey. But I remember that we see him. So that'd be pretty cool. It's kind of like a 2v2, except Hammer doesn't really fight. But Whiplash seems like a super powerful villain. I really hope they flesh him out more throughout the rest of this movie, but I don't know, because I've heard a lot of the actor of Whiplash talked about how he didn't like how Marvel treated his character and stuff, and how they blew a lot of the one-off characters for the solo movies. Like they just kind of used them and then threw them away. Like he said that he wished that his character was more fleshed out. So I hope we get at least a little bit more development of his character, but honestly, I doubt it.
Wow. Okay. Good stuff.
It's very soft, no.
Sorry?
Software shit.
Well.
Alright, so I didn't record the fight scene that happened between Rhodey and Iron Man. But that's probably my favorite fight scene because of just the intensity. Like the party, Tony being drunk, being a little douchebag. And then on top of that, you had Rhodey going down to the lair, getting the suit, and then popping out of nowhere. That was super cool.
Something so big that it was going to make the nuclear reactor look like a AAA battery. Just him? Or was Anton Bank going on?
I'm going to be honest. I don't remember when I was initially watching this movie of S.H.I.E.L.D. getting introduced this early into the MCU. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even know they were in this movie. I knew Natasha was in this movie. I knew she wore the Black Widow suit because mostly from what I remember, she was in a hallway scene fighting. That's all I remember, really. But I totally forgot Nick Fury was in this movie. I forgot all of this stuff. I'm so glad I'm rewatching these movies. All right, so I have about 45 minutes left to this movie. Honestly, the second half of this movie is all right in terms of a villain story, but I really like the progress of Iron Man. He is obviously the main character of the movie. The movie is good, but the second half really is not that good, I think, because they just sideline every other character except for Tony. Alright, so the final battle just started. I actually really like the introduction, how they connected the villain and Tony Stark. I like the way they compromised Rhodey's suit. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Okay, you guys might all think this is my first time into the MCU, but you know from my content that it's not my first time. But a lot of this movie specifically, I literally know this one and Iron Man 3, and probably actually Thor, Captain America: First Avenger. All these first initial solo movies I don't really remember. When we started to get to the end of phase 2, or not end, but middle of phase 2 with Winter Soldier and Guardians, and that's when I remember every movie line for line, villain for villain, plot point for plot point. But these super early movies, I barely remember anything. But so far, this initial fight scene's pretty good.
You go up top, I'll draw them in. Well, don't stay down here. This is the worst place to be. Okay, you got a spot where it's the kill box, Tony, okay? This is where you go to die.
Well, okay then, this final fight isn't that bad. I'm actually vibing with it. I like the 2-on-1. Whiplash is super powerful though. Maybe a little bit too powerful. The only thing I don't like, and which I'll talk about later on my final take for this movie, is just a lot of Iron Man villains seem to be just direct opposites of one better thing. Well, obviously last movie wasn't one better, but this movie it's one better thing. I wish they implemented more hand-to-hand combat in the fights, but the battle's not over yet, so there might be some better stuff. But yeah. Okay, that wasn't a bad ending. I did feel like the bomb thing was a little bit rushed. They could have cut some time. Pacing in this movie wasn't the best, but I want to talk more about that in the final tape. As of now, I like the multiple plot point conflicts in this movie. That's probably one of my favorite things. It's definitely going to be going up in my MCU ranking, but I'll talk about that at the end.
So, we found it.
Alright guys, so Iron Man 2, what did I think of it? I thought it was a pretty good movie. Like I said before, I loved most of the movie. I thought the first half was really, really well done. Honestly, the first half of the movie was one of the best paced parts of the MCU. It flowed so well. We had a lot of character development for Tony in the first half, as well as introducing the villains. I really do wish they utilized the Whiplash character more, the villain. I really wish they utilized him more because his character had such a deep connection with Tony, and if they dived into that more, his character would have been 10 times more sympathetic, and I really, really wish they went more in depth with him. He was kind of like Jake Gyllenhaal's character Mysterio, except he didn't have a tie to someone else in Tony's life. It was directly just Tony, and he had to literally, like, he wanted to kill Tony. So, and also how gritty these movies are already. Like the first Iron Man movie and this Iron Man 2 movie, they were pretty gritty in my opinion, especially compared to what the MCU is nowadays. So I feel like they really missed out on a legendary villain opportunity here, and that's kind of where the movie goes downhill for me. The second half of the movie, the pacing was pretty trash in my opinion, and I definitely think that was the biggest issue of the movie. And also the introduction of Rhodey was great again in the first half, the way they used him in the court scene, and then when he officially became War Machine. But after that, actually the entire movie honestly went downhill after that War Machine versus Iron Man fight. After that, I felt like nothing really topped not only that fight scene, but also the race car fight scene. Nothing really topped those two things. It was great emotionally. But this movie felt more of like a build up to obviously Thor, because I felt like obviously the first Iron Man movie was more of a test for this universe, and then this movie they kind of decided to go full all in, because you could tell by the post credit scene they got Thor's hammer, and so it was cool to see. But at the same time, it also felt like they were using this movie as too much of a setup. The Avengers Initiative was such a big part of this movie. SHIELD was such a big part of this movie. I felt like they didn't focus on the surrounding parts other than Iron Man. They focused on Iron Man and SHIELD, whereas instead of doing just SHIELD, they should have focused on Iron Man and his villains along with SHIELD. I just felt like their intentions were in the right place. They just didn't know how to communicate it to the audience. And yeah, overall, I really did like this movie. I think it's underrated. I'm going to be moving it up on my Letterboxd list. So if you guys want to check out my Letterboxd, it'll be right here on screen right now. But yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Again, if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and hit notifications so you don't miss any time I upload a video or I go live. If you guys are enjoying this series, make sure to like this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.